Throwaway time. What's your secret that could literally ruin your life if it came out? Well, it's more of a secret to my friends that I've made recently. Some background first. I don't like being touched or hugged, and I'm incredibly uncomfortable with intimacy in general. When I was in the 8th grade, a bunch of girls in my class convinced me they had a friend who fancied me. They said she had seen me somewhere and thought I was cute. Faked her MSN account and they talked to me every night for a few months, invited me out to the movies, and, obviously, didn't show up, then revealed to the whole grade that I had been tricked into having an imaginary girlfriend. I was mocked viciously by everyone in the grade, and ever since then I can't really trust women. I also can't believe that a girl may have feelings for me. Even when they explicitly tell me they have feelings for me, I can't help but feel like they are trying to trick me. It's caused a lot of insecurity, and I can't get attached to people easily. I'm terribly afraid to text or message people first because I'm convinced I would be annoying them. What's worse is that when I think about it, I know it probably isn't true, but I can't help but feel like it is. Even though it was grade 8, it was around the time when attraction to women was just starting to get real, so to be hurt at a time as delicate as that has really done some damage. The secret, of course, is that I had been dumb enough to be tricked. As you might suspect, the whole thing has left me afraid of being vulnerable. To have this found out by my newer friends, as in university friends, would put me in a really uncomfortable place. I probably wouldn't be able to be their friend anymore. Thanks for reading. You're the first people I've told about what this event has actually done to me. Middle school kids can be so cruel. Same thing almost happened to me in 7th/8th grade. I had a crush on a popular boy in school and even got up the courage to nervously talk to him a few times. A girl in my class must have picked on this and told me that my crush had told her during a school dance that he liked me. I was kind of skeptical, but she told me quite a few times until I started to believe it. Finally, I heard from somebody else that it was all lies, and apparently quite a few people were laughing at me behind my back. I was so mortified and became even more of a loner than I already was. A few days later, I got a note on my desk, supposedly from my crush, telling me to meet him after school in front of the school. I threw away the paper and went home immediately after school that day, thankful that I found out about the hoax before I embarrassed myself worse. I didn't even know the girl who told me the lies. I had no idea why she was being cruel to me for no apparent reason. This is my old account, so might as well throw it away. While on deployment, I killed a man in a coup de grace. The feelings of taking a man's life always weigh a heavy burden on me every day. No one likes hurting people. He had been hit by some of our mobile artillery. While part of me wanted the bastard to be in pain, it wasn't right. My medic was busy with my wounded, and as the officer on duty I took out my .45 and put one in his head. I knew my boys wouldn't say anything. Most just watched, accepted it as a fact of war, and kept walking. I remember throwing up afterwards. I came home and everyone acted like I was a hero. I never felt like more of a sham my entire life. This isn't necessarily something that could ruin my life, but it could ruin many others. I haven't told anyone before. My father recently went to prison for white collar crime that he pleaded guilty to. He didn't commit this crime, but the alternative was fighting a highly sensationalized, media obsessed scapegoat case and potentially getting 20+ years. While he was in prison, I read his little blue book, which I knew contained all the missteps of everyone he's worked with. He has always been an extremely scrupulous man, so these offenses were something he took seriously enough to note. I have information on countless state employees, incredibly prominent and wealthy community members, numerous elected city/state officials, and police officers this information could ruin lives and start political controversy. My father is an incredible man and is not vengeful whatsoever. He will never use any of this info against these people, despite the fact that most completely turned on him and stayed uninvolved at all costs or started pointing fingers. When I picture my aging father sitting in a maximum security jail cell sleeping on a metal sheet without a mattress, he wasn't given one until his 5th night. I'm filled with rage for these people who could have stood up for their friend and prevented this, while he still continues to be loyal. I still haven't decided which campaigns, if any, I'm going to ruin in the upcoming elections. Okay, so this is a secret I've kept for nearly 20 years. During the summers, when I was growing up, my parents would often leave my brother and I'm male, with our aunt and uncle who lived out in the country. It was great as they had 4 sons of ages close to ours, so we had a lot of fun doing kids stuff. One summer when I was 8, the oldest cousin was maybe 16. We somehow got talking, and he asked me if I wanted to sleep in his room that night. He has the nicest room and bed, so I was all for it. Got into bed and he asked if he could touch my peen. I was 8 and just thought it was okay, so I let him. He rubs it for a bit, and then asks me to do the same to him. So I do. This progresses, and eventually I'm sucking. I think I knew this was wrong, so I said I didn't want to carry on. We stop and I go to sleep quite confused. I wake up, and he hands me some money, and tells me never to tell anyone about what happened. Next night he tries to do the same thing, but now all I care about is the money, so I do it. This carried on for 2 summers. Eventually I got old enough to realize it was quite wrong regardless of the money and stopped. I've not told anyone this. He's now married with 2 kids. I'm also married, and we see them sometimes at family events. I don't have the balls to even try and talk to him about it. Hell, I'm not even sure what I'd say. I'm sure this will get buried, but just getting it off my chest makes me feel better. Buried comment, but here goes. Not life ruining, but makes me feel like crap every time I think about it. As I've told Reddit before, I have a blind brother. When we were young, I used to get so frustrated at all the extra attention he received and how I had to be more responsible with my sibling than my peers. So, when my brother and I would go play, go to the store, or just generally go anywhere without adults, I would abandon him somewhere unfamiliar to him. Then, I would stand off quietly and watch the anxiety set in as he tried to figure out where he was and what was going on. Also, I was really intelligent as a child and knew that was my ticket to attention. When I would help my brother with his homework, I would teach him all the wrong answers so that I could continue being the smarter sibling. Today, my brother is my best friend. He goes to college and lives by himself. He's become one of the most intelligent men I've ever met. I'm trying to make it up to him now by being the best big sister ever, but I still feel so guilty at how I found him to be a burden when I was a kid. I came very close to committing a school shooting. I was picked on a lot in high school. I think it was because I tried so hard to be cool and everyone saw right through it. There were these 4 cowboy jock types that gave it to me the worst. After being publicly humiliated and beaten in front of a girl I liked as she laughed/cheered, I decided that none of it was worth it anymore. I had no support at home being an only child, and having parents that worked constantly and cutting and burning myself didn't make me feel better anymore. So I got my dad's handgun out of the gun safe. He uses the same combo for everything, the idiot, and brought it to school with me the next day. I can't adequately describe to you guys how ready I was to kill these 4. I had absolutely no fear or doubt in my mind. I wanted nothing more than to show everyone what happens when you push someone over the edge like they did. I had the gun tucked in my waistline. I was wearing this baggy pair of cargo shorts that I wore a couple times a week that day. I remember walking towards the cowboys table, so goddamn ready for it to be over, when the gun fell out of my waistline, down my left short leg, and made the loudest sound as it hit the cafeteria floor. I tried my best to grab the gun real quick, but people saw what it was and screamed, and one of the instructors tackled me to the ground. They eventually concluded that I had brought the gun to school to impress people with badassery and had no intention of using it. I was expelled and sent to live at a youth ranch in Idaho until I was 18. I did have the intention of using it though. I was going to kill all of them. I'm 24 now, and I still think about it all the time. I have not recovered from high school. I'm still terrified of people in general and avoid having relationships because of what I fear I'm capable of. I'm not looking for pity. I know that what I did was wrong. It just feels good to tell the story. Thanks Reddit. Some people really have no idea how bad bullying can really be. It guy here. It's amazing what people will do on their computers and say in their emails despite having to sign a waiver that all computer activity at work is monitored and recorded. I have half the company's banking, social media and personal email account info and passwords. I know who is secretly banging who at the office behind their spouses' backs. I know who is sibbering at work and jerking it in the bathroom almost daily. At least they tell their sex chat partner they're running off to the bathroom to jerk it. Haven't felt the need to check the validity of that one. I know when people are having marital problems, financial problems. I even know one person here had their children taken away because a social worker found cocaine in their house. I know who is embezzling money. I know when people get fired for completely bull reasons, like they just want to replace them with someone younger and nicer on the eyes. And I know who my boss is buying Xanax and Vicodins from. Basically I have a treasure trove of my coworker secrets. I won't actively do anything with this info, but it's nice knowing I have the ammunition there if something were to ever happen. May not ruin my life, but would really prefer if it didn't get out. 26-year-old male and have visited with 30 plus escorts over a 4-year period. This includes girls in the Amsterdam red light district to girls in Asian massage parlors. First time was about 6 months after breaking up with my first girlfriend. To be honest, I stopped counting how many times I've actually paid a visit to one of these girls. Was never very confident with girls growing up, so this was much easier than actually having to put myself out there. I guess I'm actually fairly good looking and have much more confidence now. It's only in the last couple years that I've come to realize how easy it is to attract girls and sadly recall how much time and money I've wasted on escorts. Been almost a year since I last made a visit. There was a conversation in the 40-year-old Virgin where Seth Rogen was providing an analogy comparing growing weed with hitting on girls. The more seeds he planted, the pot more he could smoke. Likewise, the more girls he hit on, the more he could frick. When I was younger I had problems communicating with girls, especially continuing conversations for long periods of time. I tend to do better with short bursts of conversation. So with most girls I tend to see at school / office / gym / anywhere, I will just BS with them for 2-3 minutes with small talk, try to make them laugh, and walk away. It really doesn't take long before you see how many options are really available to you. Even girls that are already attached have friends they can introduce you to. This is just something that works for me, along with increased confidence. You just gotta find your own strengths and try to play off them. This wouldn't ruin my life, but back in middle school me and a friend in our building were standing outside our street was being repaved. We noticed the workers all left for lunch, so my friend said hey let's go sit in the steamroller. Being young and dumb we did. So we go and realize the keys are still on. My friend was like hey let's drive it. Well, having never driven a steamroller we didn't know that it's the back that turns. So he started it up, we started going down the street, he's driving, I'm just riding along. Next thing I know we are losing control and we crash into some old guy's living room. This old man was sitting there watching TV. All we could do is just run. We booked it and left. Told my parents I was over at a friend's house and we didn't come back to our neighborhood till later on. Come to find out the cops have been going house to house looking for us. My parents were like what stupid kid could have done this? The old man whose house we crashed into only got a basic description of my friend but not me. There were wanted posters with a $20,000 reward for my friend, but the picture looked nothing like him. After about 3 months the posters went away and we were never caught. We never told anyone. Dead thread or not, I'm going to post this. I'm a 30-year-old woman and I've never had sex or kissed anyone. I've never had a boyfriend or a girlfriend. There's nothing physically wrong with me, nor am I unpleasant to look at. I wank a few times a month, mostly because of a biological need, rather than actual desire, I guess. I've never fantasized about anyone, or felt any physical desire for anyone. I'm now aware that I'm asexual and quite likely aromantic, not aromatic, look it up, but it still bothers me that I never took the leap and did anything though I had offers enough. Starting now would feel Stupid. Lame. I know. After reading the stuff here. I have a diaper fetish. It pretty much escaped in high school, and I have to cover my ass, no pun intended, every time I get caught going back home. I have tried killing myself because I hate the fact that I don't like my fetish. This is my first time I've actually made a throwaway to actually admit to it. I just want to be normal. I've spent thousands of dollars on prostitutes mostly when I couldn't afford it. I've lied to my fam and had to ask for loans due to my addiction.